doing something with his arm or saying something crazy, shot him. And I thought, oh my God, what have I done? You know? And he was laying with his face on the table, like twitching. And so I knew he was going to die a very slow and painful death. I knew he was already dead, you know, and within the next 20 seconds. So the next.
America does suffer from an opioid epidemic. There are very few things in life that are worse than a cocktail of drugs in your system. In the case of Ryan Poston, he was found to have had Xanax and Adderall in his body, Ryan Poston being the victim of this crime. But you ask yourself, where does drugs come into it? I am sure many of you know this story. I am familiar with this story, but I have not seen this footage. But there is something out there that is far worse than any drug you can take, and there is something out there that if you combine two elements can give you effects far worse than any kind of intoxication or narcotic, and that is when you combine jealousy with trauma. In the case of Shayna Hubers, who herself did suffer a lot of sexual abuse as a child and well into her teens by her father, she met Ryan Poston on Facebook back in 2011. I think this is a key detail in this case because when you meet someone online, sometimes things are not what they seem, and behind a barrier, which is your smartphone or your computer screen, you can be whoever you want to be. Now, I will analyze psychological processes during this interrogation. If you do end up liking this video, please subscribe.
2 minutes, I knew he was going to be dead. And he was in a lot of pain. He was twitching, he was moaning. But he was ultimately dead. And so I shot him enough times to kill him so that he wouldn't suffer at that point, which was a few more times. And I shot him, I think I shot him twice. Thought he was completely dead, and he was laying there still, twitching and making noises. And I shot him in the head. I probably should have left it there, but I knew he was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Or have a very deformed face.
And you were concerned.
And I knew, oh no, he would have died. He was already dying. He was dying. But I just walked around the table and shot him where I knew he would die immediately. And fast. His obsession with guns killed him. You know, I would have never, I'm so Democrat, I would have never touched a gun in my life until I dated him.
If you strip away all the theatrics, and I don't know why she's singing right now, but have a look at the way she's speaking when she describes the crime. Passionately, detailed. She's happy. She's speaking in a creative manner. She wants recognition for what she's done. She wants attention for what she has done. She is satisfied and happy with what she has done. Why? Because she found out that Ryan was on a date that night or another girl was involved. Now, there's no doubt to me that the sexual abuse that she encountered as a child from her father played a part in her upbringing. For example, if you are abused, you may end up becoming the abuser. What you experience as a child in terms of abuse may seem normal to you when you become an adult and you project that onto others. But in this case, she is singing, I assume, rejoicing in what she's done. She is singing, thinking the lady in question who Ryan was going to have a date with can no longer have him. This is retribution and revenge to her. This is revenge to Ryan. And personally, with the outcome of this, I don't even think she cares. She's long past caring. Maybe the trauma has numbed her. Maybe the relationship numbed her. There's a real possibility Ryan was abusive. This certainly wasn't the way to handle it.
Put his arm across the table, and there's a lamp, and he had put his arm across the table and had it in my face and was screaming at me at the top of his lungs after he had thrown me around the room, and was saying emotionally to me, "You're a f***ing hillbilly. I f***ing hate you. I hate everything about you for what you are and my family." None of it matters now. It's the worst thing I've ever done in my whole life. But I feel like it's sad that I part of me doesn't feel bad about it. And a part of me does. You know what I mean? Part of me is like, you hit me.
There you see a lack of remorse. I would give her the benefit of the doubt by suggesting she didn't plan this. She wasn't thinking, I want to kill him one day. But in doing so, she has taken honor and pride.
Through me. You just don't treat a woman like that. I was in high school and she was a convicted felon. She told me that the women that she went for cocaine. She told me that the women that she got along with in jail or prison are the women that were there because they had killed their husbands.
Our mind is a prison in itself. Our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions can get the better of us. It seems to me her going to prison is like a picnic in comparison to the prison of her own mind. Her memories, her thoughts, what she's going through, what she's thinking is a far bigger problem for her than being in a cell for 20, 30 years.
Anyone will ever want to marry me if they know that I killed a boyfriend in self-defense. It's not funny, but the stuff he was saying to me was so abusive while he was throwing me around the room. I'll never forget it. I think in the midst of that, my love turned to hate, and I remember screaming, reaching up to grab the shirt. You, how dare you mock my family? How dare you?
Shayna displays multiple personalities even in the same sentence. One minute she's talking about marriage and who's going to have her again. This suggests that she's already thinking about her future, even though her future is in prison. She's then thinking about the relationship and she starts crying. I don't think Shayna's ever known what she's wanted. I don't think she's ever used or made a decision based on intelligence and thought. I think she's very much a reactionary person. You see, as human beings, we have consciousness. We have free will. This is what separates us from animals. We feel things, we can contemplate them, but we also know why we feel them. This is the hard problem of consciousness. We'll never know why that is. But in compared to animals who feel and react, that is Shayna in a nutshell. She feels something, she reacts. That's it. There's no thought, there's no intelligence. As for her outcome, she was sentenced to 40 years in prison, but there was a slight twist where one of the jurors turned out to be a felon. So she had a retrial, and again, she was sentenced to 40 years in prison, where her parole, the earliest could be, is 20 years in. Thanks for watching.